some people to get in here. Sorry about that. I don't know what that was. And I'm just doing a quick one, quick, checking in with you guys about some things that I think it's very important that some of these things get addressed and spoken about, and maybe some clarity, because I see a lot of signs of deception, and it makes me worry in a different way than everyone else is worrying. Guys, we if there's one thing like you've learned, like with this channel or with many channels, it's that there's a lot of magic tricks going on. Look over here while this happens. I mean, with this strike, it was all Christmas gift this, Christmas gift that. Then we're sending up Christmas trees and Christmas gifts into the space station, which happens to fail, end up in orbit. Then about 2.5 weeks later, because this is on the 14th of December that happened, 2.5 weeks later, and after back and forth talk from Kim Jong-un saying that we're going to send America a Christmas gift, and then they can decide what type of Christmas gift it is and all that type of talk. And the president saying, you know what, maybe this Christmas gift, maybe it'll be a nice Christmas gift. Maybe he'll send a very beautiful vase. And then the vase, all of a sudden, China, you see that China had presented the North Korea with a vase on the few times that he left his land. He went by train to China and was presented with a huge flowered vase. Because it's all a farce. This stuff, it's all smoke and mirrors. Guys, there's so much deception going on right now. We're dealing with, we've already been somewhat at war. It's like, I call it like the silent war. That's been happening for some years. It's been happening with China. It's been happening with Russia. I don't know if war is the correct word for it, but I mean, they're going hard at each other economically, and with hacks. Intellectual property theft on one side, us hacking into their stuff, them hacking into our stuff, us making their planes fall out of the sky when it comes to Russia and Iran, because it looks like we're on a little bit better footing with China. And there's something with those three countries, and someone will probably put it in the chat. I want to talk about that as well. But as far as what's going on right now, and by the way, you guys see that thumbnail? Yeah, that's you almost 2 years ago. Wow, I lost sound? Thank you for that text. Man, what was the last thing? That's so crazy, because I know where the mute button is, and I'm not touching that any. I'm touching the other side of the phone. Why does that happen? Why does that happen? So I don't even know what's the last thing you guys heard I said. Huh, that's weird, huh? So, again, I went over the Christmas gifts. I went over all that. You guys heard all that. And then I was getting into, what was the last thing you guys heard? I know, I turned it back. I got a text. So thank you guys. I mean, when I'm streaming like this, I'll get, like, you guys ever gotta let me know something's wrong with audio. I'm telling you, it's something messing with my audio. There's no way I did that. My hand is on this side of the phone, like with my hand this side of the phone, and the mute button is right down on this side of the phone. I know exactly where it is. It's the reason I hold it on this side. That's crazy. I don't even know what's the last thing you guys heard I said, but I'll just say it again. So, you look at the progression of events, right? Prior to this, they're all talking about Christmas gifts. All right, that we're talking about North Korea. Everyone's focused on North Korea. What kind of Christmas gift do they mean? What are they going to send? And we can figure out how good our Christmas gift's going to be. And then at the time, Trump had tough talk and basically dismissed it like nothing. Later on, they go to him and he's very relaxed, calm, doesn't care. It's almost like he's like playing it up so that when people look back, they see, oh yeah, because I think there's a lot of clarification coming as far as like a big picture domestically and internationally, pretty soon coming. I know there is, and Trump even touched on it today actually. But anyway, so there's all that crazy disinformation leading up to it. Conflicting, what do they mean? And then it could be a good Christmas gift, like a vase. And then China presents them with a vase. And it's just really weird how that all goes down. And then bang, we strike Iran. But not until, it was in response. But they had to have known, I hate to even say, I think they kind of like had an idea that some of this stuff was going to happen. The casualties were kept to 1, although if I understood the president correctly, not only was the DOD employee, but one of those, I think they're Army, by the way. They could be Air Force, anyways, another one of them died, I believe. One of the armed service members. They just say armed service members. One more did die, unless he was talking about what happened in Kenya, which brings me to basically to what I was talking about. So we've seen a response where Iran did attempt to launch some missiles into what they call the green zone, and only one even made it in. And I think they weren't missiles. I'm sorry, I'm not saying that right. They weren't missiles. They were mortars. So big difference. But they launched some mortars into the embassy. It was the night of the funeral, like right after he was buried. Okay. No, they didn't draw any blood, but still, they did do that. Then we have a very successful, a suspiciously successful attack in Kenya from Al-Shabaab. Now, they have never killed an American. I couldn't believe to read this, but if you watch my show a few back, they had never killed an American before. They said in that country. So, I don't know, did they kill some Americans in Somalia, Ethiopia? Yeah, probably. But then again, I don't know. Maybe they meant they never killed an American until this point. And at the time, I took it as them almost kind of, giving a sign to Iran, like, we're with you. Although they're Sunni, which doesn't vibe right. That's not necessarily what I would expect. It's possible, just like the enemy of my enemy, but the Sunni and Shia, they do not get along well. So there was a lot of suspicion I had, not just with the fact that it's Sunni and Shia, but just the mission itself. Only 5 Somalis killed. This is the American record of it. 5 conflicting, every little thing that's happened, there are conflicting reports, which is common in the Middle East, but it's a lot more glaring with some of these recent things. So in Kenya, and by the way, that thing on the really, that was me. Okay, that the thumbnail, that is a Q post, by the way, from 21 months ago. Iran, and then Killbox. RT, retweet, and then days later, retweet again. And he's always like, you know, whatever he writes, whatever he's hinting to. So days later what? And then it goes to the next line. Usually he'll answer. That's kind of how they communicate. And then it says, Kenya. Wow. So Iran's next with a kill box, and then days later, Kenya, mission, Muslim Brotherhood, boom. And sure enough, right after this, Al-Shabaab hits us at our embassy in Kenya. So once I saw that, because I was already suspicious, if you guys saw that video, although that video didn't get that many views. I wonder if it even, because like, it like suspiciously got low views, you know, like, I know, you know, sometimes some videos don't get as many views as others, but sometimes they're suspiciously low. So I don't know if like I did back to back. I don't know what happened there. Maybe alerts didn't go up. But what I was saying in that video was, you know, it looks like they're trying to signal some type of alliance, but at the same time, the fact that they're Sunni and Shiite, and the fact that it was so suspiciously successful with what they called small arms fire and indirect force, which, what do they even mean by that? I mean, they're trying to like muddy the waters even when they report it. And I tried looking at different reports, and they all say the same crap. Indirect, let's make sure, indirect force and small arms fire. So I don't know what they're trying to say with that. That's really weird, right? The indirect force. So come to find out, I start looking through Q, I type in Kenya, boom, that pops up. Iran's next, retweet, days later, retweet Kenya, something about a mission, and then MB, which means Muslim Brotherhood, boom. Found it very interesting. And that's just one. And then, by the way, so their account, the reason it was suspiciously successful in my eyes, their account was something like many more dead Americans than what, let's talk about the U.S. account, because I trust it more to a point. 5 Somalis killed, 4 Americans killed, a bunch of aircraft lost, and vehicles lost. Now the vehicles, it's like, yeah. But you know, some of the aircraft, they were DOD employees' aircraft, and a bunch of those were lost as well. So you have all that damage, only 5 of them killed. When this is like, I mean, they have enough men. They're gonna carry out an attack like that. It's gonna be a good amount of men. The fact that only 5 died and 4 died in the American, it's kind of, and then plus they were able to hit a bunch of our planes and vehicles in a secure area at an embassy, and only 5 killed. I mean, you know, they take on heavy casualties when they take on a mission, which is why it's almost like a suicide mission sometimes, some of these things, which is what they do. So it's just really odd to me. And then the Somali account was something like, for some reason, they had more Somalis killed than what we said. I don't know if they're trying to make it them out of them or something, but 11 killed, and then 20-something American killed. And they talked about how extensive the aircraft that they were that were hit and things like that. Although it turns out they're more so like just like DOD planes, not exactly military. Doesn't make it. It does make a difference actually. But anyway, so I found that suspicious. I find very suspicious what people are saying in the media. When you listen to the media and you listen to some, I mean, I'm telling you, I say I'm independent because I'm like, politically, I've always been like in the middle, right? Well, not always. I actually used to be more left. But as you get older and understand things and realize where there's lies and where there's truth, now you're not going to find truth on either side. But I think Trump is as close as you're going to get to some actual truth. And I know that to somebody who feels different, that could sound totally crazy. But I'm looking at a pattern of lying and lying and lying. And it's like, I just think of it this way. If he didn't hit this general, now I told you my initial thoughts were great. I gave it a 48-hour period before I did a show on it, and I still thought great. I did mention I would like to see what the imminent attack was, and it sounds like they're going to tell the Gang of 8 tomorrow, which worries me because Schiff is the head of it. Like, I mean, they got to get that guy out of there. If we're going to be at war, we can't have him at the head of the intelligence committee and the Gang of 8 as well. We can't have that. It's too sensitive, the intel. He is such an obvious globalist, deep state actor. It is sickening, and he's gonna have access to all that. That worries me. How do you go about that? I mean, do they release, because they have a whole investigation going. I'm telling you guys, it's all gonna come to a head, but it's not ready. I don't think it's gonna come yet. And it makes me worry about what's going on. But anyways, what I'm getting at is, I have seen so many conflicting reports. It is unbelievable. You read some stuff, they talk about this guy as if he was just like this man of peace. Man, this guy has shed more blood in more countries, of more different factions of Muslim in Syria, in Iraq, and he's had influence in Yemen, Libya, all these places. And by the way, tonight I'm going to be doing a show, and there is a very strategic island that I have been seeing nobody talk about, and I'm going to bring it up tonight. You guys can probably figure it out if you really looked into it, but maybe you should do that, and you know what's coming. But it's going to be very interesting. I really think that I came on to something with this island. But my main focus though has been on watching how the spin on this looks. So we haven't been spoke about is he went on a peace mission to Saudi Arabia with a letter, was bringing the letter around to these different countries on a peace mission. On his way, he's shooting that. He's having his people invade embassies. He's having his people do missile strikes. Is it an FF? No, I really don't think so this time. I do not think. I think this is authentic. And the thing is, when we didn't respond in a harsh way, when they shot down the drone, which again was him. All right, this guy, he's good. He's good. It's strategic as well. This guy's good. He was the one general that was having our generals scratching their heads when we were doing the thing in Syria. And I'm sorry, even in Iraq, he would have forces that would cross. He would cross over with his forces and cause trouble. But he would do it in a very strategic way. He made a lot of alliances with unlikely alliance type things, which is potentially why Al-Shabaab is reaching out. Or are they? Is there more to that? Why did Q know about that 21 months prior? Why does that not hit my ear right when I hear so much such a successful mission, and then it's described in two totally different ways? And then you look at the media, and it's just like, if they're not talking about him being on a peace mission, they're talking about it like, this assassination. Now it's an assassination. And, but when nobody says the obvious question, okay, then what should they have done? If there's an imminent attack on our embassy about to happen, they have missiles aimed, they are about to shoot. If he did nothing, like Obama did with Benghazi, they would be criticizing him the other way around. Just like when he left Syria. And I was critical of that, only because the Kurds. I didn't want the Kurds, who have been our allies and fought next to Americans and shed blood with Americans for years and years and years. That's what I didn't like. It looked bad for a day, and then, thank God, peace came. I still don't think the Kurds are very happy about it, but hey, he did act in America's best interest. Ended up being a smart move. Well, that's hard to say until the end, but I anticipate it to be a smart move. So he pulls out of Syria. They're all pissed. They've been wanting war. I mean, that's the thing. It's been like his whole presidency. It's been basically like the right restraining from any type of war and the left wanting war. And anytime he didn't do an action, they feel like he didn't do enough. They can shoot down our planes, and he's sending no message. His red line was crossed. Listen, even when there was supposed to be a strike in Syria, he found out that 25 people would get killed. Not American, just 25 Syrians, innocent people, because that's how they do it. They hide amongst the innocents. When the president found that out, he called off a strike. I mean, his whole presidency, he has acted with restraint. I have to take the word. I mean, it's not just him. It's the whole Pentagon. It's the whole military. I know how the military works. It's that one thing I know. I know how the military works. As a former Navy cryptologist with a top secret clearance and a crypto in collection, I know how at least that world works. And there's not that many mistakes. They know, and they know way ahead of time. And a lot of times they gather up all this intel and they just don't even they never carry anything out, especially under Obama, who, by the way, I'm going to show you guys a couple things. Like, for instance, I'll just paraphrase it, but Mark Meadows, he put out a tweet. And by the way, I believe it's North Carolina that he's a senator or a representative of. But the only reason I follow him is he's a good man. Anyone from North Carolina, you got a good man in there. But he was talking about how Obama, without Congress or anything, carried out over 4,000 drone strikes. He even carried one out on an American, targeting an American over there. Over 400, close to 500 drone strikes. I'm sorry, 4,000, I believe. We're going to look at it. It's like an amazing number, which makes sense because I remember I was following that whole thing, and there was a drone that literally terrorized Pakistan forever. It would just fly around, and nobody knew the kill list. Isn't that crazy? What a sneaky way to like not take full admission for each and every death. It's like, listen, we set the drone, we set an algorithm, it knows, and it just kills them. It just, when it sees them, it kills them automatically. So, supposedly that's the deal, but nobody knows who's on the kill list. How is that? Nobody knew who was on the kill list but this drone. And this drone would go around Pakistan, terrorize them. And there was trust me, a lot of terrorists got killed because of it. But still, that's how he rolled. Whereas this president's been pulling out, showing restraint, putting troops in when you should. Like right now, we are on high alert. And I think that the government is on high alert right now. Because what normally happens with these countries, especially like Iran, is it's 3 days of mourning. So we're a little bit overdue. And I think that's just a matter of planning. They're planning. And it was funny. The government, when I rarely watch MSN, but I was watching it today. And this is why I was so disgusted with this conflicting reports, which is so many more we're going to get into. It's like unbelievable, some of this stuff I'll get into. So, but the government shut down around like 2 o'clock or something like that. Right after the president met, he was with the president, if that's what they call it, president or PM of Prime Minister of Greece, whatever it is, president, I think. He was the president of Greece doing an Oval Office press conference, which I've quoted a few things he said in there. So as soon as that finished, they cleared it all. They cleared the Capitol building. They cleared everything. Everything's cleared and empty. And the reason they gave was that there's flurries. So they said there's flurries, and we're going to close all this. So now, mind you, DC is not like one of those, like, cities down south where it snows a little bit and everybody just like crashing their cars and getting out of their cars and like, oh my God. You know, like in Boston, we just, you know, take a sip of coffee while we're doing a fishtail in the snow, you know? It's like, it's not a big deal. Same thing with DC. They get a lot of snow. So it's just these little flurries, and they shut down the government at a time like this. Maybe there's something more to that. I know they definitely beefed up that fortress they have over there, which I have more questions about the embassy attack too. So they said they breached it. How did they breach it? That's what I want to know. That embassy in Iraq is a fortress. So I'm very curious about that. And then so here's some of these conflicting reports. We have people like Bernie Sanders going on. He said, you know, he's out of his mind. How could he do this? To which I want them to ask the question: what would you do if you knew we were under imminent attack? Our own troops at an embassy. Our own troops and personnel. What are you gonna do? Nothing. You gotta. And they strategically took out one man, and I think it was the right man to take out. And it's like this crazy, like, when you see half of the country, like, on the enemy's side, it's like weird. It's like, is that how much they hate Trump? At the expense of the country? You know how weak I felt for this country? I'm like, if the other countries are watching this, they must be thinking that the United States is 100% against our president. Well, hopefully they know better, that we have a media that is so crooked. It's the reason that people come and they want to see stuff on YouTube. They want to hear truth. They want to hear somebody who is authentic and is going to actually, like, you know, kind of clear the air and unmuddy the waters and you know, break the shady mirrors and show the way. And I don't know the way, but I can definitely tell you what's the bullshit. For instance, let's look at a few things. I'm about to share screen. I want to share screen. Oh man, am I gonna have trouble with this? Maybe I'm gonna have trouble sharing screen. That's unfortunate. Well, you know what? All right. So Nancy Pelosi, she filed a war crimes. I forget that's why I wanted the whole letter, but I had the whole letter. I have the whole letter. Why can't I do this? And there's always an option to share screen on here. And now I just don't understand like what's going on with all my stuff. There's just a little. That's okay. I'll just tell you. So there is a Nancy Pelosi. She is filing some type of like war crime thing, and you know, basically what he did was illegal. Listen, it wasn't illegal. The president has that right. President Obama took advantage of that right a lot. I mean, a ridiculous amount of times with the drone strikes, especially in Pakistan, all over he's done drone strikes on Americans. You know, he's got for real blood on his hands, him and Hillary. We know that. We know the way these countries have been destabilized. But Iran, they are a true threat, a true enemy that has been shooting down our drones, shooting at our, whatever you think of Saudi Arabia, they are a strategic ally. Of course, we want them to change how they treat people, how they treat women. You know, it's their human rights, and unfortunately, I don't think it's going to change anytime soon, if I'm being honest. But strategically, they're an ally. Israel, strategically, they're an ally. Sometimes that can be a problem. Because if this comes about, if they make this more about like Israel than they do the U.S., that's when you will see countries joining up. That's what it takes. You guys know how it goes. That's exactly what would happen. Then I'd be worried. If it becomes a bit more about Israel than us, that's when I get worried. What if Iran's response is trying to get a significant missile strike into Israel? I know that in the past, there's been groups that they'll shoot so many rockets, like 5 out of 20 something will get through. So it is possible to get through the dome. We've seen it. But ultimately the dome is very, very nice. But we've actually sent some new defensive technology over to them. So can they even hit Israel? I don't know. But I'm trying to look at the things that behind the scenes. Like, why is it the media has all of a sudden, like really in the past 2 days, kind of formed this stance of this wasn't legal, this wasn't proportional, this was, like Trump, and they're questioning his sanity and all this stuff. Yet we let Obama with drones just kill at will. Drones would kill lists that no human knew the kill. So according to all the records, no human knew who was actually on the kill list. Do I believe that no human knew? No. I think somebody knew. But it was reported nobody knew. These drones, some type of algorithm, they're fed something about who's the terrorist, facial recognition, and those drones, they just fly around Pakistan, mostly Pakistan, but they went to other places. But they just fly around Pakistan, and as soon as their face pops out anywhere, they're getting hit. So that was Obama's way of dealing with things, and he killed a lot of terrorists, and he probably did a lot of shady stuff as well. Stuff that we're starting to learn about now, and will come out to the rest of the public soon. We've gone over a lot of that stuff. Trump was being spied on since the beginning of his campaign. And the crazy thing is, not only did they have a Pfizer on him, they had a Pfizer on Ted Cruz too. Now you're not going to hear that in the MSN, but it's going to come out. And when it comes out, you heard it here first. So unless you've heard it somewhere else, because it's common knowledge if you follow Q. There was one on Cruz as well. It was shady politics. They were trying to make sure, they were trying to, screw the people. We're going to decide who's next because we have an agenda. And I think he's tearing that agenda down. Are there things that I don't understand why they're still intact? Yes. Are there things that he's done that I don't agree with? Yes. Are there things that I have not agreed with that later I did agree with? Yes. Like pulling out of Syria. But with this situation, he was right. And what are we gonna do if they whatever they do? And I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that Iran will respond? I just want to see a yes or a no. I just want to get a feel for the room quick. Yes, Charles, we do kill the poor enough. That's true. Well, except for that, General. I think Trump's done a good job of trying not to kill the poor, not the rich. Unless you're talking about the type of people who would end up in the military. Huh. So, yes. Yes. Yeah, so, yeah, I agree. Because, and the thing is, there's so much information we don't know. So anybody forming an opinion, see, I already thought he had the right once there was the missile strike that killed now 2 men, wounded another 3, and then the U.S. Embassy is attacked. That's enough right there. And he's right there in Baghdad while it's all happening, but he's supposedly carrying a peace letter. Now, could this all be set up and fabricated? Absolutely, we've seen it before. But for now, with this president, I'm gonna roll with it. I think it's legit. I want to see what the imminent threat was. I bet you it was something to do with another missile strike, weaken the defense, really take over this embassy, or take land from us. Because what they're doing is in Iraq, every Shiite, if they try to speak out, see you later. They're done. They have to roll with the Shiites. Any Sunni, they're against. Unless they're in the Iranian area, they're so against. They want the U.S. to stay. In fact, now they're talking about the Iraqi. Amanda, what's going on? What's going on? What's wrong? Amanda. Sorry. So. Okay. Sorry about that. She's alright. She's just being cranky. She doesn't like it when I do the show and I'm not playing with her. So. Oh, what was I saying? Oh, so the Iraqi Parliament. The Iraqi Parliament, they get together, right? Yesterday. And then they vote. And they vote that they want the U.S. out. That's the headline. That's the story. Well, then there's the real story. The real story is all the Sunnis in the parliament, all the Kurds in the parliament didn't even show up. Didn't even show up. And every Shiite in the parliament fears for their life if they don't go the way Iran wants them to go. Now, if that doesn't show you who has influence, I don't know what will. I bet you there's a few of them that actually want Iraq to basically cleanse the Sunni and Shiite, or at least just have it under predominant Shiite control. Whereas Saddam was Sunni, so they would like that. They would like that. So that's a big factor that no one talks about. All the Sunnis and even the Kurds didn't show up. Just the Shiite, who are under immense pressure, and not just pressure, but they're threatened. Their lives are in danger. If they voted, their lives are in danger. We have to keep that in mind. This is a very complicated situation, and to see some of these people in the media simplifying it and taking advantage that people don't understand the complexity of all this, it goes right through me, because it's like, what are you, for the enemy? Because this is real now. This is real. This could get very real. And are we going to keep being apologists to the world? Are we going to let them just do whatever, just kill Americans at will? Just because it's not us. It's just the thankless DOD employees who work overseas. And you know what? Some of them do stuff that's probably horrible. But most of them are great people. And we're just going to let them get killed? They're fighting over there, so it don't come over here. And I hate that expression, because I think it's kind of played in a way to, I don't know. There's certain things that go on, and we all know about it from the deep state, where, it's not always in our best interest. This president hasn't given me a reason to think he's not doing things in our best interest. He could have made his life a lot easier with China, but instead, he had that economic war with them, and totally, he blasted them with that. They really got hurt from that, from going at an economic war with us, with the tariffs. People wanted to keep going when he made the first phase of the deal, and I think the first phase of the deal had something to do with North Korea and some type of friendliness and this whole Christmas gift little charade, while we were 100% operational on Iranians in Iraq. We knew what was coming. I fear that we almost I'll go this far. They could have maybe known that there was going to be them rushing the embassy or that strike, knowing that it wasn't like a huge one, just one that's going to take out one or two people, couple injured. Would they let that maybe happen so that they can take out a strategic general who, in our interest, it would be extremely strategic to take him out? I wouldn't put it past the government. Hell no. You kidding me? I ain't stupid. But I do trust the general story. Sometimes you do have to play politics with the people, because you see how the media spins things. they got people thinking that he committed this illegal, he's committing war crimes. I mean, an imminent attack is an imminent attack. Now, of course, like I said 1,000 times, I want to see more about it, but, you know, for now, you got to take it at face value. It makes sense. It makes sense. And we've seen him show restraint in the past. But there was a couple of things I wanted to point to. I really wanted to share with you guys and be able to show you this whole letter of Pelosi trying to have the president charged with war crimes. Oof. And then in the media, they're talking about this general, and they're talking about him being on a peace mission. It's like, it made me feel like, oh man, it's a weak look. You know, they're just saying, you know, it's all politics until it's foreign policy. Then politics are out the window. When it comes to, especially like foreign conflict, all politics go out the window. You can vote for or against war, but the politicky crap, you know, with the media shit they're doing, that should be out the window. I don't like that. I don't like that. We have to be able to trust the president, no matter how much you hate him. Maybe you don't trust him, but has he given you any reasons not to, as far as his foreign diplomacy and the way he's shown such restraint? He's been trying to de-escalate everywhere around the world. All around the world, he's trying to de-escalate. And maybe it got to the point where, you know, the Iranians took advantage of that. They knew that he didn't want to, you know, be stirring up a war. So they were taking advantage of that. They're slowly fighting these proxy wars all over. All right, there's all this going on in Syria, all this going on in people really need to look into what's going on in Libya as well. Libya, and then what's going on in Yemen, what's going on in Iraq, in eastern Iraq, because Iran's directly to the east of Iraq. So all that area, they have all this influence. And this is the general who is the reason for that influence. And all of a sudden, they decide they're going to start shooting rockets and attacking our embassy, and then they have a planned attack that was going to be much bigger, according to the intel, and we take them out. I don't see a problem with that. And then right afterwards, Al-Shabaab is successful, takes out a bunch of our aircraft and our vehicles and personnel, and only has 5 of their men killed, attacking an embassy in Kenya. That gets basically no airplay. And then I look at Q, and it says Iran kill box. Days later, retweet Kenya. Then under it, mission. I want to pull it up right now. You know what? Actually, I'm going to take a look at it real quick. I'll be right back. And then it says track. So under that, under mission, track. And then it said no coincidences. So you tell me what that. So actually, it was directly under Kenya. It says no coincidences, and then it says track. You know, like keep track of this, which I am. I'm keeping track of that Kenya stuff. I'm following the lead here as far as Q. But also, this is all the stuff I gathered on my own. I just happened to type in Kenya, Iran. Boom, Iran, hashbox, next. Retweet, days later, retweet, Kenya. No coincidences, track, important, boom. That's the whole thing. If you guys, I already put it right there. You guys should just go on QAnon.pub and just type in 2 of the words that you see in the thumbnail, and you'll get the whole thing. Read it for yourself. It's from 21 months ago. And there was also a tweet that the president made. I'll be showing tonight. That has the exact time, exact date. Everything matches up with the Q post, and it's really fascinating. I'll be able to show you that because unfortunately I don't. Usually I can share screen on this, and I can't right now. I don't understand. But so yeah, I'll be talking about all that. Trying to think what else. Oh, the Australian fires. I am not being insensitive. I feel bad, first of all, for the people. also the animals. Do you guys realize just in South Wales province, or however, we're talking 500 million animals? I mean, I guess it depends on what kind of, are they counting these like small little animals that come by the million? I don't know. But 500 million animals killed just in South Wales province, or however they cut it up. 2,000 people left homeless, 20 homes destroyed. You know, we've seen worse than that in California, but this is significant as far as like how much land was burned, and you know, the 2,000 people homeless. That's serious. I'm almost done, baby. And that's very serious. I don't want to kind of downplay it, but this happens after the Australian Prime Minister comes out and says that he's against global warming. He doesn't believe in global warming. He doesn't. Well, he does, but he doesn't believe that it's the reasons are. He thinks it's more natural than it is, you know, done by man, or that whatever attempt we're trying to make to fight global warming is like, you know, like a needle, having like a little tiny needle and fighting a bear. You know, it's nothing. It's a pinprick. So, you know, we're talking forces that are unbelievable, and we think that, and also anytime that you have something like that, global warming, where you can control people, you can create regulations, you can create all these rules and funnel all kinds of money. Global warming equals big money and control for the elite. That's a fact. So we always have to keep that in mind when we see this stuff. So he comes out speaking against it. This happens. Then we find out days later, something like 10 to 20 people are arrested for starting the fire. But then they said, well, they started a fire, okay. But really, no, it was the global warming. It was the wind and the extreme dry, and it was just really the weather that caused it to just like spread like that. And I said, wow, that's crazy, you know? I mean, I know what the weather's going to be like here in Boston for the next few days. You don't think they knew that? You don't think that, you know, especially if this is done by, if this was ordered by, you know, somebody with interests in people starting to talk about global warming and making this prime minister look stupid? This is a worldwide thing. These are the globalists, all right? And so that's a direct attack on Australia. This was not natural. This was set. And they know the weather, what it's going to be. They know it's going to be dry for the foreseeable future, and windy, all the worst conditions. And they waited till the worst conditions were about to happen. And what they say, 10 to 20 people got arrested? That's crazy. So there's a whole bunch of them setting all these fires. Come on, people. Come on. I feel really bad what happened, but we gotta look at the facts. The fires were set. Oh no, it was but then the weather is, you know, it's global warming, man, because the weather, it's so dry, and the wind, it's just, that's really what caused it. The fire, the starting the fire was nothing. It was the weather. You don't think they anticipated that and waited for a time when it's going to have those conditions to make this, especially when you have dozens of people involved? Don't you think it's, at least that we know of, that were arrested? And I would love to hear what comes out of those arrests. Are they going to talk? Can they make them talk? What are the laws over there on torture and stuff? It's like, I want to get some information out of this. And you know what's the crazy thing? Even if they got the information, they wouldn't tell us. Yeah. It'd be done behind closed doors. They'd handle it, take care of them. Probably go after the person, and they'll set them up in a weird way, or they die of a heart attack or a brain tumor. You know? That's the crazy part. Even if they get the information out of them, they're like, all right, we were working for, you know, the interests of the globalists to have, you know, more focus on climate change and things of that nature. And George Soros sent us. Well, first of all, George Soros has already been behind so much, I don't even know. I think he has so many connections that he's almost untouchable for now. because I think something's coming for him too. What is this called? Restricted. I don't like that. I don't answer restricted. What else? What else? So that Australia fight is, guys, that's an interesting one too. So I'm gonna be touching on that tonight as well. There's a lot I want to touch on tonight. I just wanted to kind of, you guys are gonna get nailed with all this propaganda, and I just, guys, take everything with a grain of salt, and just think who benefits. And also, you know, no matter what you feel about Trump, this is the United States of America. And yeah, there's been some horrible stuff that we now know we have definitely done as a country under certain administrations. We know that. It's what's changed me to where I can't even say I'm center. I am like right on all of these issues. When it comes to these foreign policy issues, I actually look at the other side. I can't believe it. I can't believe the things they're saying. It's all they do is try to manipulate, twist, lie. It's too much. It's too much. There's supposed to be a little bit of that in politics. What we are seeing is unprecedented. And you know why? It's because right now, they know they're screwed. They know they're screwed. Mark my words. Mark my words. I've been saying it the whole time, and we keep getting closer and closer. I'm telling you, when they declass the whole Pfizer and everything I'm talking about the total declass. And guess what? Even out of that, only 40% or 30% will be public, 70% will not be public. What is this restricted crap? So anyways, guys, Red Pill Dispensary. I'll see you guys tonight. Actually, you know what? Let me see. I didn't get to read comments really. I mean, I was glancing at them. Hold on, this phone's about to die. All right, let me see comments. I don't know who restricted is that keeps going. All right, so I'm not going away yet. Let's look through the comments. Let's see what you guys gotta say. So if anyone, you know, I'm not gonna go that far back, but if anyone, only the government who does. Sure. D-Live sucks, man. D-Live sucks. Trust me. I've made accounts all over the place just in case, but D-Live sucks. I'm telling you, it is the worst. I don't want to have it be a headache. I have enough of a headache with this software that obviously can be corrupted. So that's another thing, guys. Gang of 8, good point. Whoever that was, good point on that, because it's very important. The Gang of 8 is being briefed in the morning, but I would say we are in a, I don't want to sound like any kind of fear-monger or anything like that, but I would be in high alert from now until today and tomorrow. From any second now till tomorrow. High alert time. As far as, I wouldn't be worried for your own life. I would more so just be checking the media, check around. When you see a report, confirm it. If anyone got anything, just in the, actually on this one, I'll put it in though. It'll be there, Red Pill News, the Red Pill News at proton.mail. If it's more like personal type stuff, the protonmail at yahoo.com. And so any questions, guys, on anything? I mean, I don't know it all, but I do my best to try to break through the weeds, because there's so much crap that they're trying to distract us with. And it's just, when I see this much, it makes me think, all right, so another big event is coming. This is how it was leading up to the strike on Soleimani, which, if you watched this channel before then, we were right on track. My last video was Iran and Russian jets were able to take them down, and we had the capability to make their jets fall out of the sky. But we make sure we do it over a nice area where they can eject and no death, but We sent that message a few times with Iran, with their stealth fighters, with Russia, with their brand new stealth fighters that are supposed to take on our super stealth fighters. I mean, that gotta hurt. They just made a huge order. They're gonna be creating them, and this huge order won't be complete until 2028. And then they have them for how many years after that? And we've already been figured out how to make them fall out of the sky. So Russia just took a huge strategic blow. They're the stealth fighters of their future that they just started using, and they're now producing in large. And we waited for that. We waited until they actually spent that money and they actually started going to work, started kicking them out, started flying them, and then they really put an even bigger order in, and then boom, they start falling out of the sky, falling out of the sky, falling out of the sky. Eject, eject, eject. I think that's coincidence. We know what they do with planes. We know that this is a capability that they've had for a long time. But the thing that makes it significant is these are stealth fighters. These are not commercial aircraft, private aircraft. These are stealth fighters. The top stealth fighter. They're falling out of the sky. Same thing with their bombers. Same exact thing happened. Fell out of the sky in an opportune area where they could eject, and everyone's fine. So there's a lot of this going on. If you don't remember, right before Iran, we shot a missile off the West Coast. To this day, it's unknown what exactly it was we shot. That's how top secret it is. It's nuclear capable. We know that much. It was nuclear capable, and it was such a classified type of weapon that they've never actually disclosed exactly what it was, what came off the West Coast. Then, like I said before the strike, we had sent up the Starline capsule for Boeing, who, by the way, had this problem with their 737s as far as having a software problem where they were falling out of the sky. You see the trend here? And wow, how so funny that right before all this, Boeing, same company as these 737s, private, basically for the whole world, they can purchase them, but they are based out of Seattle. They want to bring Christmas treats to the space station, don't reach it, end up in orbit with the satellites. Who knows what this capsule really is? Then a couple of weeks later, about 2.5 weeks later, I know it. That whatever that was that they put up and they put it into orbit had something to do with the kill. Either that, or it has something to do with like a strategical weapon to have in the sky. Something if things do go to war. We're going to be ready. It's just one more strategical satellite that does something, maybe a direct energy weapon. I should have said I really shouldn't have said that. That's like one of the things that gets you flagged, but screw it. And by the way, guys, they're not taking people's channels. Like, if you guys are thinking that because of Adam, why is he still broadcasting? If he can still he just wants people to go to DLive. Hello, come on, guys. He can still broadcast. He's still broadcasting his shows. So what is it? He can't go live? I don't know. If you guys believe that, that's fine, but I don't believe it. I think it's a way to get people to go to DLive. I've never seen so many people talk about DLive as in this stream. It works, I guess. It works. Sometimes, at first I didn't think it was working, but apparently it works. Got people talking about DLive. I don't know. I made an account just in case, but I'm not worried. So then they're talking about the Christmas treats and all that. It's very shady what's been going on, and that same type of shadiness and conflicting reports and look over here, while the other hand, the other hand's down, doing something else. That's what I'm seeing right now, and that's why, I'm concerned. So with that, just heads on a swivel. I wouldn't worry about your own life unless you're at like a public event. But yeah, I do worry about sleeper cells. I do. And they don't even have to be like an activated sleeper cell. It could just be somebody who's radicalized. We have a lot of freedoms in this country. We're a lot more monitored than you realize. However, if somebody has ill intentions and they go out of their way not to be monitored, they're probably still monitored anyways. But I mean, anything could happen. Think about it. If you're out somewhere, anything, I just don't want to like, I hate like scaring like some other channels. I don't like to do that, but it's a realistic thing. If you like, for instance, like New Year's Eve, I had my head on a swivel that night. Man, my head was on a swivel. So gatherings like that, monumental gatherings. If you're Jewish as well, I hate to say it, but um, that seems to be you guys seem to be targets right now as well. And unfortunately, it's because of some people at the top tippity top of this world. They have a cabal, and they basically like they take the Jewish faith and make it into something different. They like hijack their faith, in my opinion. I just don't think it's right. And so I was looking at some of I shouldn't even be looking at it, but some of like how they do gematria. I shouldn't even be looking at this stuff, but sometimes, I try to learn a lot. And the way they do gematria, it is unbelievable when you look at the setup of the dots. And then you look at the way our phone is set up with the apps. It's freaky stuff. But that could be for another day. Again, this is the Red Pill Dispensary. You know where to get your Pez. Why are you laughing? Man, I thought that was funny. Take care, guys.